Hey everyone, this is Awesome Cake from TN Gaming, and I'm playing Mount and Blade Warband. Mount and Blade Warband is the standalone expansion pack for the successful indie game Mount and Blade. I would say it's a medieval action RPG game with elements from strategy and castle sim games. I'm playing the single player side of the game because I find it more enjoying. You can also play multiplayer, but I prefer having AI armies that I can control than having several newbie teammates failing. With enough background information, let's play the game. Welcome, adventurer, to Mount and Blade Warband. Before beginning the game, you must create your character. Remember that in the traditional medieval society depicted in the game, war and politics are usually dominated by male members of the nobility. That does not, however, mean that you should not choose to play a female character, or one who is not of noble birth. Male nobles may have a somewhat easy start, but women and commoners can attain all of the same goals, and in fact may have a much more interesting, if more challenging, early game. Select your character's gender. I think I'm gonna go for a male for now. You were born years ago in a land far away. Your father was a veteran warrior. As a child, your family scrabbled out a meager living from your father's wages as a guardsman to the local lord. It was not an easy existence, and you were too poor to get much of an education. You learned mainly how to defend yourself on the streets with or without a weapon in hand. You started to learn about the world almost as soon as you could walk and talk. You spent your early life as a stepchild. As a boy growing out of childhood, you rode the great steppes on a horse of your own, learning the ways of the grass and the desert. Although you sometimes went hungry, you became a skillful hunter and pathfinder in this trackless country. Your body too started to harden with muscle as you grew into the life of a nomad man. Then, as a young adult, life changed as it always does. You became a game poacher. Though the distinction felt sudden to you, somewhere along the way you had become a man, and the whole world seemed to change around you. Dissatisfied with commonsmen's desperate scrabble for coin, you took to your own local lord's forests and decided to help yourself to his bounty. Laws be damned. You hunted stags, boars and geese, and sold the precious meat under the table. You cut down trees right under the watchmen's noses and turned them into firewood that warmed many freezing homes during winter. All for a few silvers, of course. But soon everything changed, and you decided to strike out on your own as an adventurer. What made you take this decision was personal revenge. Only you know exactly what caused you to give up your old life and become an adventurer. Still, it was not a difficult choice to leave, with the rage burning brightly in your heart. You want vengeance. You want justice. What was done to you cannot be undone, and these debts can only be paid in blood. Become an adventurer and ride to your destiny. Well, enough of my awesome voice acting. This is where you create your character. Firstly, you should spend your attribute, skill and proficiency points. You have 4 different attribute points. Strength, which gives you more HP, agility, which gives you more proficiency points to spend and a slight movement speed boost, intelligence, which gives you an additional skill point, and charisma, which increases your party size limit. Now, the party size limit is how many soldiers you can have active in your army, well, just generally in your army. Now, for the skills, I'm only going to explain it briefly. I'm aiming for a tanky character, so I'm going to put some points into Iron Flesh and Power Strike for higher melee damage. How much you can level up the skill is depending on how many points you have in the respective attribute. For example, both Iron Flesh and Power Strike are in the strength category, so if I level up my strength attribute a lot, I can level up both Iron Flesh and Power Strike even more. Now, for proficiencies, I'm going to put my points into one-handed weapons, because that's what I like. But really, whatever floats your boat. And we're done. Oh, and don't forget your name. Awesome Cake. Now for the appearance, I'm just going to do it fast, but as you can see, you can pretty much change everything about him. But yeah, I'll just, I don't want a beard. And I want, that hair. Dark brown, and you hear about Calradia, a land torn between rival kingdoms battling each other for supremacy, a haven for knights and mercenaries, cutthroats and adventurers, all willing to risk their lives in pursuit of fortune, power or glory. In this land, which holds great dangers and even greater opportunities, you believe you may leave your past behind and start a new life. You feel that finally you hold the key of your destiny in your hands, free to choose as you will, and that whatever course you take, great adventures will await you. Drawn by the stories of Calradia and its kingdom, you join a caravan to Praven in the kingdom of Swadia. You came by caravan through the heartland of Calradia. Green shoots of wheat, barley and oats are beginning to push through the dark soil of the rolling hills, and on the lower slopes of the snow-capped mountains, herds of cattle and sheep are grazing on the spring grass. Occasionally too, you catch sight of one of the great war horses that are the pride of the Swadian nobility. The land here is rich, but also troubled, as the occasional burnt-out farm bears witness. You keep a wide berth of the forests where desperate men have taken refuge, and it's some relief when you crest the ridge and catch sight of the great port of Praven, its roof tops made golden by the last rays of the setting sun. You are exhausted by the time you find the inn in Praven, and fall asleep quickly. However, you awake before dawn and are eager to explore your surroundings. You venture out onto the streets, which are still deserted. All of a sudden, you hear a sound that sounds the hairs of your neck on end, the rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. This was Awesome Cake from TN Gaming, and remember, this was just an introduction video, and the real thing will come to you shortly if you subscribe.